Okay, good evening, everybody. This is the Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee, and happy to have you on listening with us tonight. We're using this new venue to start communicating to the people of the state of Rhode Island on the important things that they need to know during this health crisis that we're having, and also some other information that would be important to you. So I'm really happy the fact that Caswell Cook, who's on the town council in Westerly, is helping coach us through this new technology, and he'll be on shortly to kind of talk us through how we got to this point. Tonight, we're very privileged to have our Veterans Affairs Director, Kasim with us to talk about veterans issues. And also we have a world champion accordion player, because we know that this economic downturn that's impacted all of us because of the virus is impacting our musicians. And Cory's going to play a few songs for us and answer a few questions and tell us how things are going. Before I start, I always want to make sure that everybody understands that this is a health crisis. And above all, the most important thing that we can do is to listen to the governor and the governor's office and our health department and Dr. Scott, and follow the directions to be safe with all the issues that are important: social distancing, staying at home. I am doing this broadcast from my office at my house in Cumberland, and we ought to make sure that we keep our distance and make sure that we work our way through this health crisis. Our number one job every day is to make sure we don't catch the virus, so we can't spread the virus. So I want to just say that there'll be an opportunity to ask questions, and we'll talk to you through this show. But maybe we could have Caswell come in, and we'll give him a little introduction if that's possible.
Hey, how are you, Lieutenant Governor?
Very good, Caswell, and thank you so much for introducing me to this technology with Ben and your team down in Westerly, and now we're going to be able to communicate on the important issues all around the state of Rhode Island. So share how did we get here?
Yeah, well, this whole COVID situation has had a lot of unintended consequences. And one of them is that the technology for doing live streams has really advanced almost overnight, and it keeps getting better almost every day. Now, it's a little grainy at times, and there's a little lag sometimes with the internet. But for the most part, what you have right now is probably the first lieutenant governor in the entire country that has a live streaming show with a full production where there's graphics, a producer, and guests. So it's really amazing. And people can watch it on your Facebook page, and anyone can out there now that's watching it can click the share button, share you to other people, and you can be answering questions, it's pretty amazing. And so as people write questions, Ben will put them up on the screen underneath you, and you can talk directly to the people.
Well, Kaz, thank you so much for doing this. I'm starting to get my own text as people are listening, and so we'll make sure that we're as interactive as we can be. But yeah, and then one of the ideas will be, I was on a national call with lieutenant governors this week, in fact, on Tuesday night, last night, and a couple of them we're going to have on as our guest shortly, so that they can share what's happening in Michigan and Delaware and around the country. I chaired the National Lieutenant Governors Association a few years back, and they're a great resource for us. So yeah, so that's great to have you on. And tell us just quickly while you're here, you're not only representing the Business Association in Westerly, but you're also representing on the town council, and just share some of the things that are happening in Westerly, and then we'll get Cory on board here, and I guess he's going to play a couple songs for us.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I've been on the town council for 14 years, which has been fun and a challenge at times. And we've worked really closely with your office the last few years, and especially in my role as the Mesquamicut Business Association Executive Director. You have been the most supportive person in this whole state when it comes to small businesses. And so we're indebted to you, and we're grateful to you. I wanted to, before we go to your first guest, I wanted to have Ben bring up Eileen's comment again and see if the lieutenant governor can see it and be able to read it from where he is to answer. So why don't you bring that up again, and go for it, Lieutenant Dan.
All right. So the print is pretty small, but it has something that says, oh, that's better. The call with small businesses was great this week. Do you plan to do it so again? And if so, when? Yes, the answer is yes, Eileen. We are going to have another call on Friday at noontime, and it'll be the same call-in number. We'll make sure you get that before the end of the show. But we really want to make sure, and Caswell, thank you for putting this question up, because we're trying to build the largest group of small businesses ever assembled in the state of Rhode Island. It's a critical time for us. And as I said before, our health issues are the number one issue. But this economic crisis that's going to impact our small businesses is soon to follow, and we're already experiencing it. And we want to make sure that, look, we don't want anybody to lose their home and during this crisis. We don't want anybody to lose their apartment or not have food on the table. But we also don't want to have any small businesses that were in business prior to this health crisis not to be in business after this health crisis. So we're going to do everything we can. On Friday's call, we're going to revisit some of the business owners that questions that they had, and we're going to answer those. And we're preparing a letter right now to our congressional delegation on their invitation to provide suggestions of how our small businesses are being impacted and where the gaps are in some of the coverages of our small businesses. And we'll provide that information to our congressional delegation as we have in the past. So yes, thanks for that question, Caswell. And yeah, we're going to continue to work on the small businesses. But this forum here, and we're going to talk about small business here, happy to answer any of those questions that are going on. But this forum is going to allow us to get into areas that our office has been involved in for the last 5 years. We have a very active staff. We have a staff meeting every morning at 9 o'clock. We have a full load of work that is done during the day. And one of the areas that we are involved in is touring the businesses. The art tour we're going on right now that you helped us out in Westerly a few weeks back. And so we'll have an artist on and talk about what's happening with the artist. But we also do a lot of work with our veterans. And the Director Jan is just an unbelievable resource for our office and for the veterans in the state of Rhode Island. So we want him to, later in the show, he'll kind of explain that. But this venue here, we're very pleased. We're already organizing a aging healthy in place strategy so that we can bring in the professionals that we work with to talk to people in their homes about the impact that this is having on our elderly population and how we can age healthy right in our homes, even during a crisis like this. And that'll be coming up next week. We'll have that on our show next week.
And I just want to say before I hop off that I called the Lieutenant Governor on Sunday and I said, how about doing this live stream show? And within 10 minutes, Ben Barber, the producer, myself, and you, Lieutenant Governor, we were already practicing with this application called StreamYard. So you got the technology instantly. You got yourself a tripod. Your wife made your backdrop look good. So I'm out of here, but you have a great show tonight. I'll be watching.
Okay, Caswell, thank you very much. I appreciate all your help down in Westerly. We say there's 39 cities and towns in the state of Rhode Island. Each and every one's important. And each person that lives in those communities are important, and the communities that make up those communities are important. So I've been blessed to be welcome in all 39, and Caswell, as a leader down in Westerly, has really made that a transition very, very natural for myself and my wife, Susan. What I wanted to do now is I introduce Cory Pesaturo. Now, Cory is a Cumberland resident who is a world champion accordion player. He's been very supportive of me when I was a mayor and also as a lieutenant governor. He plays at a lot of my events, which I'm very privileged to have him do that. But he also has a perspective on art and the artists and the impact that this is having on our artists, and also the role that they're playing to bring a little bit of pleasure into our lives with on live music in place at your home. And Cory's going to come on board, and he's going to just play a little song for us as his own introduction, and then we'll get to talk to him. So, Cory, come on board, and give us a little bit of your music. And thank you so much for being here. But share a little music with us, and then we'll get right to it.
Well, you had asked for a friend for the Navy theme, so thought we would do the Navy theme.
Yeah, well, that's for Kasim, our director.
Yeah, all right, so the Navy. All right.
Thanks, Cory. I think the
Never
people,
did that one on a show. That's
I
another.
think the people appreciate it, but no one appreciated that more than Director Jan. I can tell you that right now. Yeah, so I mean, you are a world champion from Rhode Island, and I can remember when I was a mayor, and I went out to the Gates Foundation on some education things I was doing. I was with mayors from big mayors from Denver to Los Angeles to Nashville. And then when they put their artists on the screen, they all had these Elvis Presleys and all these famous people. And then they came in with the most famous person of all from Cumberland, Rhode Island, Cory Pesaturo, the international champion of the accordion playing. So give us a little overview of the type of things the experiences you've had over the last several years. And also, and then we'll get into the impact that it's having on your profession and in your livelihood right now.
So my career usually is quite a bit of travel. I travel 100,000 miles a year. The past 2.5 years, I was averaging. So just playing a lot of variety of events around the world. I've played on every continent so far except Antarctica, which I'm working on. Play for the Penguins there, but so it's a wide variety of. It could be anything. A lot of private events, public events. It could be a family event, could be a stage event for up to 5,000 people. It's really all over the place, and playing a wide variety of music. I'm known somewhat more for jazz, but really I play about 14 genres of music regularly. I play with orchestras, playing classical music, so it's kind of big pool of gigs. So and that has been completely, of course, shut down. The last travel I had was actually on February 24th. There was a conference with a bunch of tech and medical people in Florida the first day that the stock market began to crash on February 24th. And we were like, I wonder how long this situation is going to last. And then the last official gig I did was March 1st. It was a concert in Maine. And since then, of course, everything has been totally shut down.
So how you juggling that? I mean, you had told me that you were going. I think you told me you were going to be in Italy or Germany, right? In April for where was that? Germany?
Yeah, I had a week-long set of concerts and master classes at an accordion conservatory in Trossingen, Germany, and was setting up other things. I was going to be playing at the Dutch Grand Prix. I'm a big Formula One guy, so I was going to head over to the Netherlands and play that event, and then go right to San Francisco for another conference. And then who knows, there's a million other things. So, yeah. But of course, that's all been canceled. Now, luckily, I'm known enough in the accordion world that I have students. I don't teach much in the way of specific one-on-one students, but I'm doing that more over this period. I do have an online course teaching music theory and improvisation and some accordion things. So I've been trying to grow that. Luckily, I'm well positioned in the fact that I've had that growing before this happened. But of course, a lot of musicians don't have that. And a lot of musicians don't travel, of course, as much as I do. They're mostly in the area playing gigs, and those gigs have dried up. And in some cases, they didn't have a teaching career yet. They're in trouble because there's nothing to fall back on, where all of the money that they get as a player is through live gigs. I know musicians that play at the Dorrance downtown in Providence. I'd always randomly pop in there on a Friday, and musicians that do those kinds of gigs, those are all gone. So it's of course worrisome in that way for musicians.
And that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because the independent contractors, the musicians, have been asking the question about how do I, everything's shut down. How do I, pay my bills? And I know that we had Scott Jensen on our call on Tuesday because they did open up applications for independent contractors for unemployment. Yes. And we want to let people know that are listening and people who have friends in the music industry that that's something that they should do. If they're as you say, their gigs have been canceled and their income has been eliminated because of that, they should be filing for an unemployment, which is new in the last few days, and right. And it's new in normal circumstances, right? But these are not normal circumstances. So the package that was passed relative to unemployment in Washington now includes independent contractors, sole proprietors, people who own their own business, who are self-employed, musicians, realtors, artists, and hairdressers, and it's a long list of people that actually can qualify. So that, and then also I think that there is a program that I'm aware of that Risker is involved in the state of Rhode Island, and they've partnered with the city of Providence and the Rhode Island Foundation. There's for the artists out there, and you're one of them. There's grants that are available for people who need the grants, up to $1,000 on an application, and they can get that information if they call our office, or they could just Google it. But they have about $100,000 I was reading for artists through that program. I'm not very familiar with that, but that's certainly out there, and we don't want to.
That's by the Rhode Island State Council of the Arts, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The
Yes.
Artist Relief Fund. Yeah, and they have a whole different set of applications depending on what you do. But there's a specific one at the top right now they have on the website. I saw that you can apply for a grant right there, and there's just basic questions of, what did you usually do? What gigs did you kind of do? Why do you need this money? What is the emergency that is a desperate situation? But it's great that there is that, and of course, like you said, the first time in history, I think, that musicians, giggers, can actually file for unemployment. That's a whole new ball of wax there.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons that we wanted to have you on, because you represent a large portion of our economy, an important portion of our economy. We enjoy the music. We enjoy when we go and listen to you play or other artists play. We enjoy the fact that I'm in the middle of a tour that's been abruptly halted in terms of visiting every community in the state of Rhode Island and visiting an art related organization of business. And you and I met at the Blackstone River Theater, right, a few months back, a part of that tour. So if anybody is listening and wants Cory to play a tune, they should put that in there, and I'm sure he'll oblige.
If I know it.
Yeah, there's another question on the screen, but I've got a little line. So, how much does corona virus treatments cost? Okay, so for anybody that's going to get a test, those costs are no cost. State of Rhode Island governor's office has made sure that anybody who's getting tested for coronavirus, there's no cost to that. And I believe, but you can check with our office, but also related types of treatment and that type of thing. I believe that there's no or minimal cost to that to anybody as well. So that was the question. Another question, Cory, which is I'm a small business owner. I applied a couple weeks ago, and I'm getting very small amount, or I have to. So it's like at the bottom, if it can kind of flip it up a little bit, and I'm ready to get and I'm not seeing the end of it, but I get the gist of the question.
Do I have to reapply to get the stimulus amount?
Do they need to reapply? No. If they have, there's a couple loans that are available right through the SBA. There is the disaster relief fund loan, right, that came out first, and people can apply for that for their operational costs. Now there is, and that's done through the SBA. And then there's another loan that is you can apply at your local bank for, and that's called that's the payroll payment plan, which protects the payroll of a business, and that can be applied at any of your banking institutions where you do banking. There are preferred lenders out there as well. Those applications are still going on. That was about a $350 billion account nationally. We believe that's going to get exhausted very quickly. So people should be applying, at least getting their advice from their accountants, from their attorneys. If they need some level of other advice because they don't have access to that type of advice, they certainly can contact our office, Lieutenant Governor's office, and we'll steer in the right direction. But once you apply and you're in the mix, that you're kind of you're playing a waiting game and waiting on the system to kind of work its way through. I appear that those PPP loans on the payroll, those are going to get activated probably quicker than the disaster relief funds. But if you're in the system and you have got the validation that you're in the system, you don't need to reapply. Oh, I got another one here from one of your friends that says from Dennis Crook. He says, Cory, stop talking and play something. So I guess you might know what Dennis would like to hear. So give us
I don't
a little
actually.
bit
I'm
of
not quite sure.
give us a little bit of relief that we all need right now, because this has been this is definitely a stressful time frame for all of us. Cory, please.
I'm not sure what he would like to, but I could play something that usually brings a laugh to people's faces that
Okay.
most people know. So this will be
Excellent.
a quick little thing here. Let's see. People usually know this. Classic Mario theme.
Carry on that, Cory. That was great. We've got a couple people mentioning or that they really enjoyed that, and we're gonna have you back at the end of the show to kind of give us a little bit of one more song. And I really appreciate you coming on, Cory. And I know that this is it was impacting you, but you always keep a good spirit about yourself.
Well, no, you have to. You have to. I mean, the only hard thing, of course, for me is the fact that I more play events all around the country and the world, is that when those events get canceled, for at least all the ones that I have basically through July, they usually do not, and they're not going to be able to have the event again until next year. So even if everything got back to normal tomorrow, a lot of musicians like me, we still have no gigs until the next time that something wasn't canceled, which would more likely be in August. So it's gonna be interesting if everything's back to normal. But a lot of musicians are still like, I don't have a gig, So that's something for
well.
later.
That means you'll keep on answering my call, then, Cory, right?
Absolutely, I'll be here.
And we'll keep people posted. But yeah, the artists out there and the people who are providing us the relief right now from the stress, and you're doing that, and we're going to find a venue. Actually, we're looking at a strategy right now to help our small businesses. We set up a rismallbusiness.org, which was a volunteer business. Justin from Ocean State Graphics was volunteering, and we've got well over 900 businesses on that Gift It Forward program. And we want to kind of make an awareness of how important our small businesses are. And you're a small business, right? You're a small business.
I try to tell musicians that you stop saying you're a musician. You are your own brand. You are your own small business. So
I got one more request if you want to do it. It's the Born in the USA. Do you know Born in the USA? That was the.
Well, you know what? Since I'm coming back, I'll go.
Come on back and you'll do the Born in the USA. I think people will stick around to actually hear that.
I'll pull that up.
That just came across my screen. And Ben, when you do the questions for the producer, if you could just lift up the question slightly, because it's on my screen right now, and I don't know how to lift it up. I'm not getting the bottom piece. Cory, thank you, Cory. You're going to come back, and I'll tell you that came from Chief Silva, that request, I believe, which he wants to hear from you. So if you have any questions on what he's requesting, give him a text when you go backstage, right?
I will.
Thanks, Cory. Hey, by the way, we got the Navy guy coming on. Just give him a little intro as we bring him on stage. That would be great. All right.
We'll do that for sure. I'll say
Yes. Okay. Excellent. We'll bring Kasim in now. Thank you, Cory. How you like that, director?
I love it. I love it. Love it.
Thanks, Cory. Director Jan, we wanted to make you feel at home.
You're too kind, Gov. Thank you so much.
Well, that's a little bit of the Cumberland touch. Certainly one of the things that I've learned as lieutenant governor over the last 5 years is the great people in every community, and you're one of them, right down in Wesley, right? You're right in the Wesley area, right?
Thank you, sir. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to do is, we know that you're very involved in the veterans, and our office tries to be as supportive as we possibly can, of our veterans. And anytime that we get the call, we're trying to help out, whether it's our God and our heroes, which we honor those who have died and to defend our freedom in service since 9/11, or whether we do which you're involved in, or whether we do the annual holiday care strategy, right, where we send the packages out to everybody who's deployed or dispatched during the holidays. And the Beirut Monument that's coming up. Our office, and Craig Dwyer is one of our point persons on that, working with you all the time. But we've learned a lot from you, and of course the Colonel, the National Guard, and others that are going to play an unbelievable role right now in making sure that they're keeping our state safe. Our thumbs up to our National Guard and General Adjutant General Callahan as well. But to you, thank you for being here. Give us a little overview of your office and start the conversation of what this virus impact has had on our veterans.
Well, Gov, thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to be with you this evening. And my heart goes out to all across the nation and the globe in terms of getting this together in order to get past this pandemic. And it is truly humbling to serve in today's world. As I started to get transitioned from the Navy to this position with a strong sense of humanity, and to give back to a state that's given me so much. And the governor, when she gives her remarks, she said, this is an all hands on deck evolution. That means everybody, we're going to get this together. We're going to be positive. There are going to be some tough times on the road, but at the end of the day, we're Rhode Islanders, our beloved Ocean State. We're working together to ensure that everyone in Rhode Island has an opportunity to get past this pandemic. And we're just thank you again, Bill, for the opportunity.
Yeah. So, Director, and I think that I want to make sure that people know that our offices have direct contact with all the directors, including yourself, to try to help the people of Rhode Island. That's a result of the governor's leadership and also the leadership that each director has shown as well as yourself. And I want the people to know that we're definitely connected in a way that we're trying to do our part. But again, the top priority, as you know, is the safety and the health of the people in the state of Rhode Island, including all our veterans.
Absolutely. And when you talk about as an example, listen to our small business owners, figuring out what can we do to make life easier for them, because they're providing the service. And when you're in the people business, you gotta listen to your clients so we can serve them better by listening to them, taking action, and provide feedback and move forward.
And we're, like I said earlier, where the social distancing puts us all in a spot where our management is certainly tested, right? Our management skills are tested, and our office as well. So, I mean, we're involved with our conference call with our staff, a staff meeting every morning, and I'm sure that you are as well. But you were, because of the work that you've done in advance, we shared this in terms of this virtual type of strategy. Tell us a little bit about why you're prepared to provide these services online and other ways, because you've put a portal together where all the services are represented and to help the veterans. So explain why the work that you did 2 years ago is really paying dividends today.
So if you think back a couple of years, I asked General Callahan and a team to get all of our community providers, veteran service providers, in a room together, figure out what issues with our veterans, how best can we serve them going forward. Work to do as a team We got everyone together. Your three simple words: collaboration and human resource, because people in the room
Yeah, we're having a
at
little
every
trouble.
time to
Not sure
identify
we're having a little trouble hearing you, but
what to our military family. Hence, the initiative. This is where all of our community provide service providers are.
oh, so I think we,
Yep.
Because that
All
there's
right,
no
so
wrong door
so,
approach. Whether
Director,
you come to
oh,
Lieutenant
there you
Governor's
go. Good.
office
Beautiful.
or my office, we're all there together.
Yeah, and how would people get to that site that you're talking about, that portal? Just to explain to them one more time, especially the veterans out there or the families who have veterans in their family.
okay, so the director is having a little bit of problem with his Wi-Fi. So if you can hear this, just come off and then come back in, and we'll get you in a second. And right now, Lieutenant Governor, I'm just going to read you some questions.
Great. Thanks,
Since
Ben.
you, no problem. This comes from Tim Brennan. He says many seasonal business employees have exhausted their unemployment benefits and expected to return to work, but their workplaces are closed or haven't resumed employment due to COVID-19. Can they apply for extended benefits?
Yeah, they should definitely apply, and then whatever they are, whatever benefits they can get will be provided to them. But our advice has always been, look, make sure apply, and the circumstances have changed. So I believe that they're going to be able to extend those as long as they are, especially what you just talked about, the seasonal employees. They should definitely apply, and then what benefit is available to them will be made to them. But if they don't apply, then they're never going to know whether they qualify. So we're encouraging people to apply, and they can go to the Department of Labor training for the application. They have a special application there for especially seasonal workers, and as I said earlier with Cory, independent contractors, which is a new benefit that's never really existed before. But this crisis really requires, to make sure we're protecting as many people as we can.
Thank you very much. We have more questions, but I'm gonna. The director is back, so I'm gonna bring him back up.
Great. Oh, director, you're back.
We cannot hear you. Did you take the earbuds out? I don't know if. All right. I'm gonna go back to one more question, and we'll
Okay.
come back to you. We'll come back to you one more time.
Yes.
This comes. Hey, Lieutenant Governor McKee, are you considering awarding all public safety workers hazard pay, nurses, police, fire, etc.?
Well, I think that's I think that's a decision that's going to need to come from the federal government. If in fact there's going to be like a hazard pay as a suggestion, certainly right now I would say this, that there is no request that put on the table that is not, that doesn't make sense at this point in time. Who would ever thought that we'd be in a position where you would have loans that would be given to businesses that would be forgivable? So I think that the question is a good one. They certainly had more. I have a great deal of respect as a mayor for our rescue and our fire and our first responders in a way that that certainly they are earning the respect that they deserve. But the question really is, I think it's just like on the small business. I think that the people who are representing them should be asking that question and putting that on the table with our federal delegation, because the dollars that they're talking about are going to need to be coming from the federal government, just like some of the other relief that's coming on with the unemployment for independent contractors and other things like that. So I don't think that is a question that is that shouldn't be asked, and I think it's a question that I would encourage the first responders or the people that you're talking about to address that on the federal level. our congressmen and senators have been on our television, on our conference calls, and they've asked people to call them. So I'm not trying to pass it to them, but I think that the federal government, which we were told on the last call by both Congressman Langevin, Congressman Cicilline, who are all four of our congressional leaders, are making themselves very available in this time of virtual type of communication. And they've indicated that the legislation, we're not done with the legislation that's going to have to address this crisis that we're in. And so they've asked us to give them recommendations. So that's a long way of saying it, but I think that question is a valid one. And I think that they should be approaching our congressional delegation to put that on the table. I wouldn't think that they're the only ones in the country that are asking that question. And I think it's a valid question. Director, I think we got you back. Ben, do we have the director back, you think?
We do. I still don't think that he has sound, though. I wonder if the earbuds are still connected. I'm not sure. His Wi-Fi is.
The earbud's connected to the.
Yeah,
to
he
his
had
phone?
he had his earbuds in, and now they're all right. Let's go one more question, and then we'll go.
Yes.
We'll come back. We'll get you on, Director. And by the way, somebody said riserves.org. I'm not sure if that was the answer to the question that you put to the
riserves.org,
director.
and I'll do a little a little promo for the director's leadership. He put riserves.org together. That's a great portal, a great resource where all the combined services that could help veterans are centralized on. So anybody out there, and thank you for the listener that just put that on the screen. riserves.org is what I was asking the director to explain. But I can tell you that we know a little bit about that. That's something that was put together by many of the people that are involved with veterans. I think you mentioned, and also anybody that's involved with the state, the governor's office. They put together this portal where it's a one-stop shop strategy, and it's been very, very effective. So I would encourage anybody out there that has questions about the veterans to use that portal, riserves.org.
And Matthew McCoy, who is the person that put the riserves.org up, also said, any word on how many people Honeywell has hired to make N95 masks?
So I only know what I've read, that there was, I believe there was 500 people. That's what I had read that they were going to hire. I'm not sure they've hired them all. I would imagine Matt's asking that question just in case somebody who's kind of out of work that wants to get into work. But I don't know the exact answer to whether they're still hiring. But I'll tell you one thing: we'll look at that in our office tomorrow, and we'll be posting up on our site whether or not they're still hiring or not.
Okay, the director is still having some issues. This life. Do people have to apply for the $600 a week per week payment, or is it automatically sent if you already have an unemployment insurance claim?
Yeah, so that's an automatic, and that you apply for your normal unemployment, and then that $600 additional benefit would be included without having to apply for that. That's a function of you applying for your unemployment. And I would also, again, the Department of Labor Trade and Scott Jensen, his office is really providing a great deal of information on anything to do with the unemployment. But that $600 is part of the package.
All right, we're gonna try one more time. I think he's plugging in something else now.
Well, we know that we're testing this out tonight, and we know we have a couple little things. So, look at him there. And he's a big man. Do not get him upset. I'm telling you that right now.
I'm trying not to.
Yes. But yeah, we knew this was going to be a little bit of a trial tonight. We did real well with Cory, and we'll definitely have the director back next week if he has the time frame, because he's got a lot of valuable information, Ben. So I don't know whether they're going to keep on trying or not, but I would say if there's any more questions, then I can try to take them, and then also those questions, if we know the people who are asking them, if I'm not able to answer them. One of the things that we're trying to do in our office is be a good, solid information center on all these issues. And if we don't have the answer, we're going to tell you. I just got something from our office too on the Honeywell situation, where they are still hiring, and so that's something that Matt would want to spread to his friends. But Honeywell, let me just read this here so I can be accurate on it. But it appears that Honeywell is still hiring. I think that's the general message.
All right, awesome. And let's try one more time.
I see his face, but I don't know whether we can get his voice in or not.
No, it's still not coming through. He's not muted. It doesn't say that it says you have audio down at the bottom, right? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm so sorry, Director. I'm not sure what the issue is.
We'll bring the director back next week for sure. And I'm really sorry, Director, but we got the riserves.org on there. The Honeywell, other manufacturers are too. People can see these posts on skillsforri.com. Ben, skillsforri.com. If people are looking, and the Honeywell is listed as well. Skillsforri.com. That
is four spelled out?
F-O-R, skills, F-O-R-R-I.com.
All right. Thank you very much, Director. I'm so sorry.
Director, I'm sorry, but I hope you enjoyed the music. I hope you enjoyed the music. This has been great to be able to do this. And we'll certainly be back again next Wednesday at 7:00. We're going to be talking a little bit about the aging healthy in communities and answering questions, the questions that we're asked tonight. Ben, do you have something, Ben, that you want to?
We have two more. We have two more questions, and then I think Cory is ready.
Excellent.
So this next question: any possible dates on the grant and/or loan that will be distributed to the businesses?
Yeah, so I think we talked about that a little earlier. The disaster relief money is still, I think still a few weeks away. The PPP loan, I think that I was told today that, we're inside of a week or 10 days for those dollars to start coming for people who were first applied on those. And then the people who are still waiting, they should continue to be contacting our office so that we can guide them in the right direction.
And then Frank DeCaro says, should a self-employed person use a different website to apply for unemployment compared to the regular site an employee would use?
No, my understanding is they would go to DLT and then they would be guided to that location. All right, for the self-employed.
All right, thank you very much. And let's just try one more time.
We're going to try one more time. Oh my God, you got a good smile. Everybody can see your smile. They just can't hear you. I don't know. We just can't hear you. We'll bring you.
You can hear us. Oh, I'm so sorry. We'll get you. Nope. Still not working. I'm sorry. All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Lieutenant Governor. And when you're ready, we'll bring on Cory.
Yes, and I would remind everybody that they can certainly call our office at 222-2371, 222-2371. We're still answering our calls. We're doing a lot of remote type of office detail, but we are covering the calls and we are getting back to people very quickly. And you just saw the number on the screen, our office number 222-2371. So I think that's how I want to leave it. This is going to be a great opportunity. I'm thanking Caswell Cook again and Ben for helping out tonight, and certainly Kasim. We want to make sure that we get him back because he's got some valuable information. But those who are looking for information from the veterans that don't want to wait a week, they certainly can call our office at that number, which is the 222-2371, which you had up on the screen. All right, 222-2371. And I would just finish this by saying this is going to be a great opportunity for us to communicate with a large group of people on things that we're not things that we're doing in our office and have been doing, but also other topics that are of importance to you. So if you have items that you would like to kind of have us cover, please let us know. This is an opportunity for all of us to communicate in a world that is totally different than it was 30 days ago. So thank you so much for viewing in. And Cory, come on. I really want to kind of have you do some upbeat patriotic thing, or if you can do Living in the USA or whatever the heck that was that Tony Silva asked for. Come on and take us off. And it's been great to have you here tonight. And we're going to have to give the director a lesson on how you got, all your audio okay.
No, I just plugged it in. Well, again, I've been doing this for my online course, so I'm kind of used to now working with all this live streaming and everything. But yeah, I know it was born in the USA, so I went and listened to it, and I set up some sounds on the accordion with a synth and a rock drum. So hopefully they're still here. They can hear this. Let's see how it goes. That over and over, but yeah, there's your
nice, Cory. My offices keep on telling me, make sure I get the number right. It's 222-2371. I think you had it right, Ben, but it's 222-2371. Cory, thank you so much, and we'll have you back again. If you're around next Wednesday, we may have you come in for a little more music. If there's other musicians out there that would want to kind of serve as a good relief valve for us, please let us know. We'll have you on as well. Cory, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
Good night, everybody.